Hey, how's it going? Just getting started here. What's up, Melly Mellon? Hope you're having a good evening. I'm having a fantastic morning. Didn't even need 2 coffees today. This is just water. Alrighty. Just looking at what we did yesterday. It's going to talk and review until it gets started here. So we'll start it proper anyway. And we added an initialization function for our character properties that which allocates memory for the actions, or at least a container for the actions. That's what we did here. By the way, anybody looking at the stream, how's the audio levels? There's somebody on YouTube who was saying that maybe I was a little too quiet, so I just went ahead and turned up the gain a little bit. Yeah. So, look at here. We got, yeah, that's what we did yesterday. It's part of what we needed to do in order to have something cool. Thank you, Melon. If the audios are good, awesome. Yeah, but we started setting up character property or our storage so that we actually have something to pass into our collision system to get processed. And in our collision system itself, we made quite a few changes, but our test was down there. We changed up these for loops to actually use the items inside the array list container. We made a new structure for storing temporarily, for storing hitboxes temporarily in our collision system. And you can see in our collision system struct, we do have this array list, which gets initialized from the init function here to a fixed capacity, which we set to 10 for now. We'll change that in the future. And it seems like we'll be using this kind of initialization pattern all over the place for Zig objects. Just something to note. What else is worth noting? And the game simulation, we changed some stuff in the game simulation. What did we change? Oh, we added the character properties into our data store. This needs to go away. So it was just temporary data. We need to remove this at some point. But yeah, our character data is stored in characters. We initialize the storage, or initialize the container here using the array list init function, which is again kind of like the standard pattern passing an allocator. What else have we done here? We set up a test that we actually added it to our test because it's a required. There's no default value for this this field. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what we had. And planning, well, we had all these plans to like test the hitbox data, scratch data stuff, and generate collision events last time, so we didn't get to that. We did do this. Hold on. Let me close out those diff real quick. Go back to our actual planning doc. We actually did this last time. Well, in progress, so I'll put P for in progress. Nothing here means incomplete or not even started. So today, yeah, so what I wrote down basically was create a path for setting up character properties in code and for testing collision system. So basically, we need to like have a way to easily set up a character and all their properties in code so that we can test this stuff. Before we do that, we can't really have unit tests. We could break down the collision system a little bit more into different stages, but I don't want to really do that. So yeah, let's get on it, I guess. Just going back to what we did with our character properties. Or yeah, we did add initialization function. So our actions now have a container. So we could technically start adding actions to that container, right? What was our action structure looking like, right? Well, the action properties, we have duration and then hitbox groups, which is just an array of hitbox groups, each group having a start and end frame, or start frame and duration. Yeah. Weird. Anyway, so we'll have to go through, if we want to add a new action, so if we want to add a new action, we'll have to obviously add hitboxes to that action, and some other things. So one thing we'll have to do is when we're running our collision system, we need to have obviously this data established so that the collision system can read it. But it has to be in the right state so that we get, the expected hitboxes. So that means the character needs to be on a certain frame when we do the test. There's a lot of setup we need to do to get to that point, right? So it needs to be on the right action, it needs to be on the right frame, all this kind of stuff. We still need the support for reading the action data, right? We need some way to reference the action data, giving the current character state in the state machine. None of that stuff is set up yet. There's a lot of stuff to break down, to be honest. I'm trying to think if, before we go all in like that, because I start getting uncomfortable and I need to write a lot of code before I start testing it. So the thing is, like, do we want to start breaking this stuff down into individual elements, like get action, current action for the character? We can make a utility function like that, or get current set of hitboxes. That's one thing we could do. And then the function itself, the utility function, will go through the character and find what hitboxes are currently active and return them. That's one way to do it. So we could test that function to see if that works as we expect, given the properly set up character data. So we could make a test for that. Is that how you want to do it? That's a good question. So let's go back to our agenda real quick. Where is that? Okay. So what we do, create utility function for getting current active hitboxes from a character. And this will be broken into smaller steps, right? Let's just jump down to our tech design doc. Let's just say, I don't know what to call this right now. Utility function for getting current hitboxes. So requirements, we need to get active hitboxes. Let's say attack, vulnerable boxes. Okay, well, let's break this down a little bit more. So, second requirement, we want to get the hitboxes not all as one set, but as separate sets for the vulnerable and attack boxes, for example, right? Because we're going to be looping over all the attack boxes, not the attack boxes and the vulnerable boxes. So, so let's just say separate functions for getting each type of box. So, for example, get attack boxes, get vulnerable boxes, etc. Right? Do you want the function to translate the boxes by the character position? So say translate, so let's say returned return boxes are translated by the character position. So the utility function is going to have some amount of heft to it. It's not going to be just a simple loop or something that allocates memory. That's actually another good point. Should it allocate its own memory or use memory that's been given to it? Well, my intuition here says we don't actually want to allocate new memory through a utility function like this. So, because of all the problems that could occur because of that, right? If we're translating the hitboxes, we're going to have to allocate memory, or we keep everything on the stack. But obviously, there are limits to what's to be set on the stack. So I don't want to keep things on the stack. So our one option is to like pass in some kind of like hitbox pool that has slots they can insert hitboxes in. So let's say it doesn't allocate memory for hitbox storage. See, it takes a pool of hitboxes, which anyway, let's say that. So, given these requirements, let's just jump back into our game simulation code. We don't really have like a utility. Well, we do have a utility folder. Okay. I don't know a good place to put the stuff, so honestly, I'm just gonna make a new file. Call it well, for now, I'll just call it common. No. Okay. I don't know if we're gonna need it any other places. Okay. Let's say common for now. And let's do, yeah, we're gonna have to import character data for sure. So so this is gonna might be not the greatest idea, because if this file ends up getting included in a lot of places, I don't necessarily want all these dependencies to be part of other modules. Okay, so let's just start with something simple like get vulnerable boxes, right? And so we're not gonna return anything. Maybe there's a better way to do this in Zig, but we're not gonna return anything. We're just going to have an out value, right? So we need some kind of like storage for hitboxes, right? Previously we had this like, what was it? The scratch hitbox set here. We could use this. We have to move this though, or at least import the collision system. But for now, I'm just going to kind of copy it, and then we can come back to hitbox pool or something. I don't know what we want to call it yet. So we're gonna have some list of hitboxes. It's gonna be something like this. It's going to be very similar to the scratch stuff, and actually might be the same type. Maybe it's better just to pass in a slice, right? Because we can store that. So instead of taking this, we could take like a hitbox slice, I think. So we don't really need this. So this is what we're gonna, write our hitbox data to. Of course, we need a character. You know what? Does this say entity for now? And usize. What's going on outside? And this function is gonna, get all of it. So one way you could do it is we could pass in the entity ID, but we're still going to need the game data, right? In order to pull in the character data, or we could pass in the character data directly. There's a lot of different ways to do this. So let's see. Well, let's just think about the actual functionality of this for now. So we're basically going to have, assume we have the character data, right? We have, let's just not do this. Let's just say character properties. So assume we have the character properties, right? How will we actually get the hitboxes we need? Well, at some point we need the position of the character. Whoops. The X and Y, right? Let's do this real quick. Let's import math equals import. Actually, I think I have to do, hold on. You have to do that. So that's not going to work. I need to do this. Is that right? Yeah. So we're not going to allocate any memory inside of this, right? Now I'm thinking, I need to think about this. So we're going to pass in a slice which has a fixed size. We're not necessarily going to fill the whole slice, right? You also need to think about the slice's size, so we can't actually copy more than how big the slice is. But how do we let it know how much storage was actually used, right? Well, one way we could do it is if they pass this in, we could return a new slice. I don't know if this is, maybe it's a little too clever in a way. Like we may not want a clever thing like this. So we could have like, this is one way to think about it. Or we could return the size. We could return the size of number of boxes used. So we can go, so returns usize, by default returns 0. How many hitboxes are actually written to, right? This is a pretty common pattern in C code. I don't know if it's the best way to do things here, but yeah. Okay, well, so let's just say we have character data, we have actions. Well, the actions should have, okay. So the actions have this array list, okay. So, whoops. So we'll need where are we at? So we'll need to be able to reference a particular action. So like current action is going to be equal to say 0. I don't know what it will be at the moment, but let's just say we have the current action, and then for each action we need to get those active hitboxes. So let's say we have current frame, and so basically we'll have to find the active hitboxes for the current frame in the action, right? So basically we'll have to loop through all the hitbox groups and check to see if the hitboxes are active, and then return them. I think the way I want to do that is, so I don't know what a good function name is for this, but what would it be? Something like is active on frame, and we could pass in frame and usize. I don't know if usize is the best thing to use. We could use like a i32. It doesn't really matter, right? And return frame is greater than start frame, right? It's greater than equal to the start frame. If the frame's 0, the start frame 0, that makes sense. And I think we use and here. We return whether or not start frame and frame is less than start frame plus duration. So is the start frame, if it's only one frame and start frame is 0, is the frame less than frame 1, right? Then it is. If it's 2, it should be up to 1. So this makes sense, right? Hopefully that made sense. Hold on. Does that work? Does it work? That's a utility function. Oh, we need a self. Sorry. So self is going to be obviously hitbox group. It's gonna be a const. So I think the const by default, right? And self.frame. Self. Oops, that's not right. Not self.frame. Self.startFrame, and then self.startFrame and self.duration. This utility function lets us know if it's active on this frame. This is going to be useful for other code. Why is it going to be error here? Var on return type expression found this. What am I missing here? Oh, it needs to be full. Okay. So now that we have that utility function, I know it's kind of silly, but I do want to make a test for this just to validate the code works as expected. I know at first sight it looks correct, but do we really need to write a unit test for this thing? It's a good habit to do it, but let's move on. Okay, so we have that function. What is it? So let's assume we got the current action, right? Const current. So action equals whatever action this is. So we have the action. We're not doing any checks at the moment. We're just like test, right? Go back here. Yeah, I could write a test. It's not that bad. Test if test these are not good names. But so what we could do, we can make a equals hitbox group where start frame equals 0 and then the duration equals 1. Right, this is, then we would expect the hitbox group dot is active frame. We'd expect is active frame this to be true, right? And we'd also expect is active on frame 1 to be false. Or that's not false, is it not? I forgot what is zig not, like that's fine, right? Test character data. Zig test character data. Whoops, that's not right. I messed up something. Did not like that. Unable to load character. Oh, is it source? Okay, 28. Oh, we need hitboxes. Oh, oops. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. We do need to initialize hitboxes. Oops, 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 oops. Okay. How do we do this? Yeah, we need something like this. A little more complicated than I thought. Hold on. Let's just say. Okay. Okay, that passes. So this is what we expect, right? If we made this 2, this should fail, right? Yeah, it does fail. Okay. We could write more tests for this, right? Just to think of all our edge cases or whatnot. But this is kind of like our base expectation. So let's just go ahead and do something like 5, and then it should not be active on 5. It should be active on 4, right? So this should fail. If I put it to 5, it should pass. And let's just do one more. Actually, let's just move things to 2. To be active on frame number 2. And then it should not be active on frame number 1, for example, right? I'm wrong. Oops, it's 2 plus 5, so it should not be active on 7. That's my brain not working. Yeah, so it'll be active on frame 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, not 7. Cool. That's just basically a little test that validate what we're doing is working. I think it was worth doing that just as an exercise, as practice anyway. Okay. Alrighty, let's jump back to where we were. A little bit sidetracked, but it's okay. Alrighty, we're in no race here. Okay. So we have our get active hitbox thing or whatever. So we could have, let's just say, action. What do we want? Well, we could loop over all the action hitboxes, right? So like for action dot, what would he call it? I wish I can get autocomplete here. Hitbox groups, right? So we could loop over the hitbox groups as items, maybe? We pass in an item. Let's call them a hitbox group. We'll capture that. It should be const, so we don't have to worry about having a pointer, I'm pretty sure. And then we'll say something like hitbox group dot, is active on frame and current frame. If this is true, right, we'll add it to our hitbox pool. So this is the basic algorithm we're going to think about, right? So there's no append to the hitbox pool because we're not using array lists. We're using slices here. I wonder what's the problem with this saying. Expected found. Okay, I'll have to look at that in a second. So we have the active counter for the hitbox pool, right? So let's just say pool index starts at 0. And we'll have to check to see if the the index overflows the size somehow. Anyway, so it's like something like this, right? If hitbox pool dot, I think length. So if the pool index is greater than, we'll have to do something like return. Right, this would basically say so basically we're not going to write any more hitboxes if we've exceeded the pool size, right? Well, it wouldn't be like this. It would be pool index greater than or equal to hitbox pool length. Then what's the problem is, well, hopefully this would never be greater than this. Honestly, we want it to be the same size. But either way, we'll just pull, we won't do that. We'll return the pool length just to be safe. Hopefully this never happens. We could add an exception here. I don't know the best way to use an exception in this case. What are exceptions in? Is there? What's an assert? I want to add an assert. Assert. Okay, so we can add asserts here by doing this. Looks like. You can just add an assert. Is that an issue? Okay, we include the standard. We don't need the whole thing. So standard debug.assert. Is that a? Oh, we need to import this, obviously. So we can have our assert here. And then let's just assert, just in case. Let's assert that. Oh, we should always do it. So we should assert that the pool index is greater than less than the hitbox pool dot length, right? If we ever go larger than the size, something's wrong. And then in your game it turns 1000, 1000, 1032. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, but yeah, we're just gonna make sure that the pool index never exceeds the size length of the pool. Okay, and then every time we are about the hitbox. Okay, so and then we'll do pool index will be plus equal 1 each time. So we actually need to add the translated. So now we need to add the, so basically it says find all active hitboxes on the current frame for the current. We'll just say that for now. And, okay. So we actually need to pull in oops, and I forgot we're going through hitbox group items, but we still need to go through each hitbox, right? So we need to do actually not outside here. We need to do it outside here. So we need to go through for hitbox group dot. It should be hitboxes items. I think we can go hitbox. That's not the name. I think it's hitboxes, right? We capture a hitbox, and then we could do this inside of here. So we have to look through all the hitboxes for hitbox group. 2 for loops. For loop instead of a for loop. Yeah. Anyway, do that. Let's go through all the hitbox groups in the action. We make sure that it's active on the current frame, and then we go through all the items in the hitbox group. And we're just going to make sure that the pool index is less than hitbox length, and we return it. And we finally need to add it to the pool, so it's going to be something, right, like hitbox pool dot pool index. It's going to have to be equal to hitbox, but we need to translate the hitbox, right, by the character position. So we don't currently know what the character position is because we have no way to access the game state, but we'll handle that here in a second. let's see. Going back to our math util. So yeah, we need a math.int vector. I'm only temporarily putting these variables here so that we know which the names of the variables we want to use, right? So let's just say position is equal to an int vector of dot, what is it, dot x equals 0, dot y equals 0. Hold on. Is that correct? X and y, yeah. Okay. So this will equal a new hitbox, right? A hitbox. Can we do this? Hold on. Oh no. It'll be character data dot hitbox. And it might behoove us to add a translation function, but for now, let's jump into the character data. Look at the hitbox. It'll be top left, bottom right. Okay. And so we could do like top equals hitbox dot top plus position dot y. So basically, this is what we're gonna do. And then left, obviously, will equal hitbox dot left plus position dot x. Oops, I don't need that part. Needs to be dot left, right? And then we'll do the same for dot bottom, box dot bottom plus position dot y. It's only because I'm thinking top left, bottom right, right? This is how it's organized in the structure itself. Okay. And then right will just be x and right. Hopefully. Oops. Okay. So that just lets us translate the hitbox by the character position. Okay, so that'll be stored in our hitbox pool that we passed in. And the index is increased. We make sure that the pool index is less than equal to the pool length. If we've gone through here and the index is already there, blah, blah. Well, the problem, you know, and then, okay, and then we're done. We don't necessarily return 0. We return pool index when we're done, right? This will be ends up being how many items we use in the pool. Okay. So that should work as expected. Now the problem is we need to now get I messed up, right? Our character data needs not just hitbox groups, but we need like, well, for now, yeah, I just realized too. So we need like vulnerable hitbox groups, right? We need like vulnerable hitbox groups, and then we need the attack hitbox groups for each action. Just for now, these are the two types we have. This could go away. Yeah, so this is for vulnerable boxes. So we give vulnerable hitbox groups, right? Does the same thing. And we can make this generic. I'm not sure how to do that in Zig. We could pass in, so we don't have to duplicate this code for both vulnerable and attack, or you can just make an inner function that gets called on the group. But for now, let's just test it with vulnerable boxes. Oh, what's the complaint about here? Oh, I forgot about doing that. To the top. Oops. Just for me, organizational sake, I like to have these things at the top. Okay. Yeah. So we still need to be able to get the action, the current frame, and position of the character passed in, right? These are the things we required. Yeah. We're just pulling the action from this. So we could either pass these things as perimeters, or we could pass in the entity index and, you know, the actual game state. The question is, do we want to actually query for the current action internally to this function, or is it something that we want to pass in as a perimeter? Well, for the time being, I know it's a lot of parameters, but we'll just have them as parameters at the moment. Okay, so that we can test it, and then if we need to change it, we will. So what do we need? We need actually this to be var, not const. So we'll need, let's just say action index or we can just pass in the action itself, I guess. Hopefully it won't copy. I don't know how Zig ends up going, but let's assume it doesn't copy. So let's do action is going to be equal to character data dot action properties, right? And then we're going to pass in, let's say, position, which will be a math.int vec32. Let's just say current frame. I'm just going to rename it to frame for convenience sake. And that's just going to be I32, I think. And we should be good there. So we get action, frame, and position as parameters to this function for now. Oops. I'm not entirely happy about this, but let's just do. Yep. Cool. And then what do we need to do? Okay, so we can get rid of the current action, current frame, position like this, and we can get rid of this as well. Actually, I'm going to revamp this because the hitbox pool is like the out data, so I'm going to make it. Actually, this is all constant. Well, no, sorry. It's not constant. So does this end up being a pointer? Because I know slices are pointer plus size. I don't know if any like Zig people out there who know, but oops, we have a frame too. So we got hitbox pool, data, action, frame, position. So I just put the out data first. Let's say out perimeter. Well, this is ready to test, right? So we can write a test here. What is our first test? Test getting translated hitboxes from an action. Okay. So, well, first we need to set up an action. So I don't think we've done that yet, right? We haven't initialized the action yet, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, you see. So we need to write a init function for this as well. So we need something like that. And then we need one for the attack box as well for initialization. Okay, that should give us the action property. So we should be able to just go back to our thing. Oops, it would be what? Sorry, be character data.action properties.init. We need an allocator. Well, let's just take what we've done in other places, right? In our test. So let's just do like this arena allocator thing. There's a test allocator. I don't know what the benefits are. Oh, okay, let's just go ahead and look at that. It's an opportunity to learn. So test allocator. What's that? Test allocator. Isn't there a test allocator? Something like that. Test allocator. It's another one, right? Oops. I swear there's an allocator. Yeah. Are you writing a test and you want to make sure error out of memory is handled correctly? In this case, we use testing failing allocator. Are you running a test in case? Okay, so let's use the test allocator because that's what the steps say. So allocator is going to be equal to enter test at allocator. Is that how we do it? Yeah, so we use testing allocator. So okay, so we made our action, right? We need to start adding hitboxes to the action, right? So, oh, sorry. We need action, and then action dot vulnerable boxes. Let's do append. So we need to append a new hitbox that has the properties. Well, it's a hitbox group. So it would be like that start frame equals, let's say start frame equals 0, and duration equals 50, just as a random value. And then we need to assign hitboxes to something, right? We don't have, now the hitboxes are, hold on. What are the hitboxes? We stored as it was an array list? Yeah. So it's an array list. So we have no initialization function right now for hitbox group. Well, we could write a init again. I don't know if we're stretching this pattern too thin at the moment, but let's just see where it takes us. So let's just make an init function. Oops. Again, return the type. We only have start, so we just need to set up hitboxes to be hitboxes initialized. So we just need to initialize the this will let us create a new hitbox group and initialize the hitboxes, and this doesn't have any additional memory, so this is great. We can just do this. Okay. Let's see. So we go back to our test. So we're gonna append a new hitbox group, right? And we don't need to actually do anything with hitboxes at the moment, like that. So we should be able to do something like standard test expect action dot vulnerable boxes is active on frame. Let's say we should expect is active on frame 5, right? Because we don't actually care about the hitboxes yet. We just want to make sure this works. Yeah, so we expect this it's active on frame 5 here. Just to see if the test runs, first of all. Error, use undeclared identifier for current frame. Whoops, I need to fix that. This is what tests are for. 19. Frame, okay. Error, function parameter, data. 9. What is wrong with this? Data is not used. Oh, we don't actually use this directly? Yeah, you're right. It's not, we don't need that. Get rid of that. Cool. Alrighty. Error, import file outside of package path. Character data. Is that outside of character package path? Haven't we done that before? I'm really confused because I swear, you know what? I'm just gonna move this to the source folder for now, and it's not gonna be dot dot. It's gonna be utils. Yeah. Never load source utils coming. Oh, that's right. I just moved that. Okay, 21. Use of undeclared identifier hitboxes. Hitboxes equals. Oh. Oh. Oops. Needs to be a hitbox on hitboxes. Okay. Type info. We did something with the type stuff again. What did we do? Oh, we're missing field duration. Oh, oops. So right. Is it required? I thought if we did this, it would be fine. Action properties does not support field access. Error missing field duration. Oh. That's important. Let's leave that in. Okay. Okay, duration equals. Well, let's get rid of that. Let's just say duration equals 0 for now. Okay. So it says character data. Oh, so it's because of the error. What are we missing here? Okay, type info, character acting properties init, the return type. So yeah, return type can have an error. So we need to do try, right? Because you can throw an error. No. It's just a. Okay. So it's interesting. So action vulnerable boxes. Does not support field access. Does not support field access. Is it because of this? Hold on. Let's see. I'm losing track of all this stuff. So this works. We can do something like assign this. We don't even use try on this. What am I missing? Oh, no member name vulnerable boxes. Oh. Eh? What did I name it? Vulnerable. Oh. Duh. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Okay, at least we got this error. And if I do, let's comment this out real quick. What happens? Still, we really get an error about this. Wait, is it something I'm doing with the type here? Let's just make sure this is correct. It should be of type character data dot action properties, right? Is that also bad? 49 expected type, but we found this. So what does that fix that? Okay. So that should fix that. The try thing. Gotta get used to that. I need to learn more about this. Yeah. We're missing filled hitboxes from here. But okay, so we don't want something like this. We want okay. What's a good pattern for this kind of stuff where we need to set properties on a struct with a init function? I mean, we could like explicitly set the parameters, I guess. Anyway, yeah, we'd have to do like character data dot hitbox dot init, right? What the hitbox? Wait, hold on. Oh no, it's not that because it's hitbox group dot init, right? And we pass in the allocator. So that technically works, but we don't have any data on it, right? Undeclared. Oh, whoops. Oops. Okay. Expected type character hitbox. So again, we have to do try inside of here. No member is active on frame instruct. Is that array list array? Oh, oops. Dot items dot 0, for example. Okay, that's what it should be. Error is active on frame. Is private? There is private functions? My mind is now blown. I had no clue there is private functions in Zig. Anyway, I got a lot of errors here. Let's see. Error is ignored. Consider using try, catch, or if. Wait, error is ignored. Of course I'm ignoring the error. Is it because I'm Oh, wait, do I have to do double try here? I think we did that, run into that before. Okay. So is, oops, I didn't want to do that. What? Is active on frame is a private. Oh. 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 Yeah, I didn't write pub. I forgot the whole pub thing. Okay, it's required. Gotcha. Error's ignored still. Oh. Yeah, so. Sorry. Okay. One failed, as we expect. The following test command failed with exit code, blah, blah, blah. One test leaked memory. Okay. Okay. Do I have to actually do anything with the testing allocator like that? Or is this going to complain? Like, what should I do? Okay. Oh, we have to defer D. So, just can we just like defer character data dot action or hold on, defer to action like vulnerable box groups dot d init. Does that fix our memory leak? Okay. Okay. Brain is getting to the hour mark of not being able to focus. Let's go. Let's go. I wish I had some things that somebody kind of fidget spinner or something so I could focus. Do we need to actually pass in the allocator? It sort of already knows what the allocator is. Is that right? Okay. Okay. 2 passed, 1 failed. Testing resizable array. Okay. Okay, cool. So if we do say set this dot duration to 50, does it pass? All 3 tests passed. Okay, so that makes sense. We're able to set duration to this, and it fails, and it, well, this passes. And then if I set like start to frame number 6, then it's not going to pass, right? So this works as we would expect. I need to set a hotkey for running tests on the current file. Is that something that'll be easy to set up in Visual Studio Code? I just want something to be like, bam, action, test, so I don't have to do this every time. Okay, so yeah, that did fail as expected. Okay. So what we need to do next, we need to add, let's do, okay, I'm thinking I'll finish up here in like 10 minutes at most. Yeah, so I just want to add the 1 test for this. So we need to get the items here. We need to append a new hitbox, right? So hitboxes dot append. We need to do a try character data.hitbox, and then what do we want? We want, let's just say dot left equals negative 100. Oops. Let's do that real quick. Dot top equals 500, left equals negative 100. Let's just go make things easy. Dot right equals 500, and let's just do bottom equals 0. So we have top left 500, 500, bottom 0. That's where the hitbox is relative to the character. It doesn't go below their feet, basically. Okay, so we should be able to append that to the hitbox array list. That should work for that. Expected union type. I need to try again, right? Tries. Error. Union type found character. Did hitbox try? What did I miss? Oh, is that why? Nope. So we're appending in the same way here, right? The first item in our list, we take the hitboxes, we append. What do we miss? Expected error union type found, blah. Wait, we don't even need to try to do this, right? This is just plain old data. Plain old data. Plain old data. We don't need to try twice. Okay, so when we're like, so we did leak memory. The following test command field is good. We leaked memory because we didn't explicitly defer the allocation of our hitboxes. So we literally have to do we really have to do this too explicitly? I guess it makes sense. It's a very Zig way of doing things. I guess we could implement our own dinit function, just like a destructor. Would that fix our memory leak? Oh, it wouldn't be. Hold on, it'd be hitboxes. I do like we can test for memory leaks like right here. That's kind of nice. Oh, what? We get what? No member named dinit instruct character data hitbox group. Hmm? This is an array list, right? What is my brain not seeing? Oh, I guess I didn't save. That's why. Okay, so our test passed there. Okay, and we're testing to see if it's active. Now, if we call our utility function, get vulnerable boxes, finally we can test this, right? We got to this point. We're being very careful with our code. So we need a hitbox pool. So we need a slice of hitboxes. Okay. So what we can do is create hitbox pool is going to be equal to some, let's just say I don't know, for now, 10 hitboxes. Sorry, this needs to be a type, right? It needs to be a type. Okay, we do this again. That's the type, and it's going to be equal to number of hitboxes. Does this work? I forget. Do we have default values for hitboxes? So what I want to do is like this. works kind of, right? Or I forgot the syntax of this. I've done this before. Okay. So it'd have to be like this. I mean, that makes it very explicit, but I just want, which is probably a good thing. Okay. Wait, so when you pass in the hitbox pool, and then when you pass in the action, so we'll pass in the action. What else will you pass in? Frame and position. So let's just say frame 5. Let's see. Let's just say const frame equals 5. And then what do we forget? Position. Yeah. And then our position is going to be equal to a math int vec 2d. Let's say it's offset by 200 or something, right? 200 by 400 or whatever. Okay. And let's see. So position. So can we compile this first of all? Okay, we can't because we did not actually set these values. I'm gonna give default to hitboxes real quick because we don't have that, right? Our hitboxes just don't have a default. Let's just, everything's gonna be 0. Okay. Oh yeah, I did that again. I did the C habit thing again. Okay, thank you, compiler. Oops. Alrighty, what do we do? Got a bunch of errors. What? Oh, error expected type slice of hitbox found 10 hitbox. Okay, how do we convert a normal array to a slice? Did I write that in my Zig notes? Okay. Oh, I don't have that in my Zig notes, I don't think. Iterative array, got that. String concat array initialization, got that. Yeah, I didn't write anything about slices. I should have wrote down notes for slices. So okay, easier for do. Type coercion, slices, arrays, and pointers. You can assign a constant pointer to arrays to a slice with a constant modifier on the element type. Okay, these are slices. This is an oh, so would I do something like I could do something like, to be very explicit, first element. Does that work? New. Oh. Oh. Or I could do something like this, right? Something like that. Error, variable of type comp time int must be const or comp time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that a problem? What's going on? Error, expression value is ignored. Oh, I did the thing. Okay. Okay, and then we can do try centered. Yes, on YouTube, Jeff Phoenix. Hey, thanks for dropping by. We'll be uploading this stream next as soon as I'm done, actually. Let's see. Yeah. Let me link the YouTube there for you. I got the list. Just give me a second. Let's see. My playlists. Hopefully this link works. I'll go ahead and paste that here. All right. Cool. So we need to expect the count to be equal to 1, right? That should. And if the count is equal to 0, it fails, of course. Yep. Back to 1. So that test passed. Now we need to see if the hitboxes. So we need to see something like we need standard testing.expect the returned. Let's see, hitbox we want. It should be the first value in the pool. It should be 0. Whoops. Const box equals pool 0, and then hitbox dot left should be equal to position dot x plus this thing. Yeah, should be vulnerable x. So let's just say should be testing box so that should pass. Error, no member name left. Instruct hitbox. Oh, sorry. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I hope some of it is useful, at least like all this stuff we're learning about Zig and way of actually structuring your program in Zig code. Okay. Array access is non-array type. What did I do? Oh, it needs to be items. Okay, it needs to be dot items because it's an array list. So it's actually, things are stored in array items. All 3 tests pass. So we could do this right really easily. Ooh. Or we just make them individual tests for each thing. So, oops, I don't know what the best way to do this is, but we can do like top would be y plus top, left, and then bottom would be bottom plus y, right? And then this would just be right should be equal to right. So we're just checking to see if the we're just checking to see if the offset is what we expect. Oops. I know that's not necessarily pretty, but I'm just doing this to make it easier to type these. Yeah. Oops. Okay. Alrighty. So we got right, right, bottom, bottom, left, left, top, top, y, y, x, x. Okay. And all our tests pass. So yeah, all that work to make sure our get vulnerable box function works. So just a quick review of what we did today. We added this new common file, which includes a way for us to get the translated hitboxes from the character data. Well, we're actually not passing in the character direct data wholesale. We're passing in just the action. We're being explicit by passing that in here. And we just tested to see if, where's testing expects. So I'm just going to organize this a little bit. Oops. I'm going to put all the tests at the bottom. I don't know if this is how everybody feels about that, but it's a pretty hefty test here. But yes, did all the tests here. So we expect the count from the pool to be 1. We expect the hitbox group to be active on 5. And then we check to see if the hitboxes have been translated in the way we expect. Okay. Make sure all passes. Cool. It looks good. All right. Well, we're about an hour and a half in here. I think we got to a good stopping point on this. Next time, we'll start using this function for the collision system itself, hopefully, to stage all the hitboxes we need to actually check for overlaps. And then generate the events finally, maybe. This has been much more work than initially had planned for, but it's all fine. Again, we're not in a race here. Hey, cool. Well, anyway, if there's any lasting or remaining questions from anybody, go ahead and feel free to ask. I am going to shut down here within the next 5 minutes. But before we go, I will link our Discord group for anybody who has not been informed about it yet, and I'll post in the GitHub link for all our source code changes if you want to monitor those or just follow along. So yeah, I'm pasting in the Discord community group right now. If you want to come by and chat about Zig or fighting games or game development, that's what that's for. And then we have the GitHub link in here as well. And just for posterity's sake, I will once again paste in the link for the archive YouTube playlist. And I'll be uploading this video if you didn't catch all of it today. Well, let's see. If there's not really any questions, I think I'll be streaming again on Thursday here at our time, but it's about time for me to get to work, so I need to get ready. I hope you all had a fun stream, or at least hopefully it was informative in some way. And hope to see you all again. Enjoy your evening, nighttime, or morning, wherever you may be. All right. Until then, see you all very soon. Peace.